Okay, family, BL Carter here. Coming back with another video. This one is about the recent mass shootings in Texas, in El Paso, and in Dayton, Ohio. And I won't detail the breakdown of these as much as others have already begun to do so. But, you can check out the video on the mass shooting in Dallas that's already posted, and that'll give you some ideas of the breakdown, and what I would be recommending we do as we see some of these stories flash across the news screen, or just about any story really. You want to look at it and scrutinize it very heavily, because we know the media does not tell us everything. We know they intentionally withhold things. We know the law that was in place to prevent them from giving false information or partial information such that we would be swayed in a particular direction. That law expired and was not renewed, so they have full creative rights, if you will, to put out what they want to put out, even if it's with the intent to sway our minds in a particular direction. So, but here's the point of this video. First of all, I want to acknowledge anyone who lost their life or some form of health, whether it's shot in the arm, the leg, you lose a leg, you lose an arm, lose an eye, whatever it is. If you have been directly affected by these events, I send strong positive energy towards you, towards your families, and hope that somehow you can find a way to be able to move on, and I'm not rushing you, when the time is appropriate, to be able to regain whatever bit of your life that you can, return to as much normalcy as possible in due time. Because it's never good to experience trauma and be stuck in that trauma. So that's the first thing I want to share with you all. The second thing I want to share with the rest of the viewers is that the purpose of this video really is to get us to begin looking at everything we see and don't see, everything we hear and don't hear, before we let our emotions run away and allow us to make decisions that may not necessarily be best for us in the long run. Once our emotions clear, once we get a little bit more facts, a little bit more information, we may make different decisions. So this is again one of those to point us in that direction, as opposed to making decisions in the heat of the moment, if you will. Remember, fear and our false sense of protection and security allegedly against some Muslims after the 9/11 attacks is, that's what opened the door to the Patriot Act, which in essence did what? Made every single American open to government surveillance without warrant, without clear-cut just cause, or without clear-cut connected dots to any real threats or terrorism or anything like that. So we want to be mindful that we don't allow emotions and fear to get us to sign away any rights, or to act in a manner that, like I said, that we would later regret. Fear of, being shot up when you're at a movie, at school, grocery store, concerts, nightclubs, gaming venues, or anywhere. You can get people to rush and push for any kind of gun control, any other kind of legislation, just out of fear. And the false sense of security that it gives you, you'll go ahead and just sign away anything. And it's just that it's a false sense of security, because no one can ensure your security with words written on a piece of paper. Your security is ensured, by you defending yourself, trying to position yourself so that you're away from as much of it, but then by grabbing a hold of the morals of this country that have gone to pots. And that's all races. We still have the racism, we have the infighting, we have the bickering and all, but morals have gone to pots for the vast majority of the people. And that's how you're going to reestablish your safety and your security. Getting people's minds back, getting people's morals back. And that's a whole nother video on how we get there. But I have a couple questions while we're talking about mental health. Or let me also state here, this particular video, I do have the picture of the alleged shooter. And I say alleged shooter, and I'll get into a little later why I call him the alleged shooter, but this is what they're putting out there. One of the pictures, there's a couple other pictures as well. But supposedly this is one, and supposedly this new information is that he targeted Hispanics. I'm not going to say his name, but you see his picture there. Because again, I don't want to give him that level of notoriety. But I ask, has anyone taken into account the rollout of 5G, which has been rejected, has been debated, has been protested in various ways? Peaceful protest, of course. People are at city council meetings all over the country saying, no, don't do it, stop it, it's not safe, etc. Have we taken into account the chemicals that are being sprayed in the air and rained down to us, the toxins in our food and water, and the impact of all of that to our minds? Gun control won't stop the impact of all of that. If a person is going to mass kill, they're going to find a way to do it. You can take away all the guns, you can take away all the automatic, and they still going to use the shotguns, the handguns, whatever it is. And if they want to mass kill, they can just drive into a crowd of people and take out 5 or 6 people at one time. They can set fires, they can poison the water supply, they can, get a hold of some anthrax somehow. And there are ways to mass kill other than by firearms. Or they can just get a regular old handgun, get 5 or 6 clips, load them up, and go on a coast-to-coast shooting spree like the DC sniper did way back, I don't remember, good 10, 15, 20 years ago, however long it's been. If they want to do it, they will find a way. And punishing the rest of the country, limiting their firearms for mental health issues or for whatever reason, though we already have statutes in place to accommodate that, it just doesn't seem to me that it's fixing the problem. So, my take, if we're going to be able to stand against any kind of tyrannical government per the Constitution, then we need to be able to more closely match the weapons of this tyrannical government. Every agency has semi-automatic and automatic firearms. So, if you take it away from the people, then the agencies have and the people don't. So they're not matching firearms. They're not matching weapons or more closely matching the weapons. Obviously, we can never match because I would say the vast majority of people don't have a bunch of AK-47s and AR-15s sitting in their closet or in their gun cabinet. You have some gun enthusiasts that will, but the vast majority don't. The vast majority have, a couple handguns, maybe a revolver, a semi-automatic, may have a home defense shotgun, and may have a rifle, whether they're plinkering with it or whether it's, something a little bit more high power for defense or something. But the vast majority don't have all of that. So when you take those away, where does that leave them? But these agencies that have all these weapons, they're ingrained within the cities and ready at a moment's notice. I mean, they're everywhere. So let's keep those things in mind. And now let's talk about El Paso more specifically. And like I said, have a look at the video I did on the Dallas shooter. That's going to show you how I broke it down. I looked at all the witnesses, all the information, the videos multiple times, and just allowed the discrepancies to jump up at me. If you're a thinker, if you're analytical, in the least bit, these things are going to jump up at you. And some things you don't have to be a thinker; they just stand out. My first question is, how is it this guy drives 650 miles, 10 hours, from Dallas to El Paso to shoot up all these mass people? If he wanted Walmart, there's a Walmart like on every other corner between Dallas and El Paso, but he drove all the way down there. So my first question is, why El Paso? What is it about El Paso that made him drive all the way down there? Those are things you want to ask yourself before we get our emotions all up in a hissy and be ready to um, rally and force people to enact different laws. What is it about this particular guy that drove 10 hours to do that? There is a reason. Trust and believe there is a reason that he drove 10 hours to that particular Walmart. How did he know about that Walmart? What made him, how does he know about that Walmart? He looked it up on the internet or what? The next thing I want you guys to do is listen to the points that are made in that Dallas shooter video. And then you look at El Paso, you look at Ohio, and you look at every other mass shooting with the same set of scrutinizing eyes, if not more scrutinizing. Take your emotions out of it. Take the emotions away and just look at it analytical, step by step, methodical. Some things that you want to look for in this particular El Paso situation, Ohio, and just whatever else comes up. Listen to all the media reports. Listen to them multiple times. Listen to the discrepancies. Listen to the consistencies. Watch the body language of those who are speaking. Watch their expressions. Watch their mannerisms of all of those that are interviewed. And don't just watch the video once. If you really want to, kind of get to a closer determination of the authenticity, if you will, of the event, you got to watch the stuff over and over again and allow whatever's going to jump out at you to jump out. Make note of what each interviewee says. There's going to be some discrepancy because, we all see things from a different set of eyes, but there should be, quite a bit of consistency. Can't be that far off. Look at the picture or pictures of the suspect or suspects. Is everything okay there? Does everything jive right between the pictures of the suspects, what the witnesses are saying, who else interviewed, what the police are reporting? Look at the pictures of the suspects. And in this particular case in El Paso, look at the pictures of the suspect. Is everything okay? Do you see some discrepancies? Anything look out of order? Those are things that, kind of make you say, okay. If there are, if nothing's out of order, then you're good to go. Move on down the line. Look at the law enforcement agencies that are present. Is there anything strange there? Which agencies are there? Which divisions of those agencies? Which units or teams? When did they arrive? How long did it take them to show up? Who's running command? These are things you want to look at. Then you ask yourself, all right, now, what else is going on? Are there any political agendas here? For one, I personally think it's mighty strange that Texas seems to have had a rash of mass shootings these last few years or so. Texas has had concealed carry and open carry for quite a while now. And it doesn't really impact the people who can purchase firearms. It's the same laws, the same mental health laws, the same, felony background, those sorts of things. They still have to do the full background checks and all of that. Texas happens to have open carry in addition to concealed, depending on location and the circumstances. As many other states do have concealed and some have open carry. But El Paso's right at the border. What's been going on? Again, why did this guy drive 650 miles, 10 hours down to the border to do this? What's going on down there at the border that he drove that far? Why that location? We got the border, we got immigration, we got immigrants, we got this caravan, we have the wall. We have a whole bunch of stuff going on at the border. or about, maybe not that particular border, but somewhere along the border. And then there's some underground tunnels where people just walk into the country, supposedly. Then you ask yourself, as far as what else is going on aside from the story, what's going on politically? Ask yourself that. Well, I can say this, we've been tied up with these shootings these last couple of days. There's been a little talk about the reparations bill that just passed last week. The reparations bill that granted reparations to the LGBT community, but still not to the most disadvantaged, underprivileged, degraded, dehumanized, humiliated, ravaged group of people in America. The black person, the black man, the black woman, the black child, the black family. Oh, they didn't get reparations. Oh, but the LGBT community did. We got all these mass shootings. We have these mass shootings and a bunch of other shootings. What else is going on politically? Immigration and deportation. Didn't ICE start going through, a couple weeks ago? Making, rounding up people and starting the deportation process. We know we've had MK Ultra and other mind-altering programs, devices, electronics, foods, medicines, poverty, frustrations, a whole bunch of other things that have been going on for some time that would impact someone's mental capacity. Here's another thing. We're coming up on elections next year. When immigrants come in and they get a vote, they also get to check which race they are. They get to check the box white. And when they check that box for white, they get the privileges that are associated with a white person. They get the privileges afforded to them as a white person. So, will that cause them to vote in a certain direction? If they're victimized and made to be the group that we must coddle and go the extra mile to help because they've been so victimized and they're underdog and they need all of this help and all this extra, will that pave the way for easier immigration and less deportation? There's definitely been some issues between the two sides of the aisle regarding immigration. Just a thought. Are you all aware, as we watch this El Paso stuff, are we aware that the alphabet agencies, they hold drills? Just about every major disaster of this type, or like in Boston, the marathon, there was some sort of drill or some sort of simulation going on in the area. You gotta wonder about that. Are we aware, as we look at this, that when they have these drills, they hire people to be crisis actors to play a role? So, again, when you're looking at all the interviews, are these people actually crying or are they pretending they're crying? And oftentimes you can see the difference. Were they actually shedding tears? Or did their face all crumble up and they try to rub their eyes, but you never saw a tear come out? Did you notice any of those in front of the camera show up in any of the other events, any of the mass shootings, bombings, whatever? Or do you notice them show up anywhere else, for that matter, in a situation that seems odd based on what they supposedly just experienced? Do we notice any of those that are in front of these cameras using words and terms that are not normal to the everyday John Doe? Remember, repetition has its purposes. Repetition has its purposes. So when people start talking words that are not normal everyday language, and you keep hearing it over and over again, it conditions you for that language. It conditions you for the fear and everything attached to that language. And it should tell you something's not right because everybody doesn't talk like that. Did you notice any of those people in front of the cameras? I'm sorry, did you notice any of the not the people in front of the cameras, the people too, but the commands or the powers that be, so to speak, in these situations, using protocols that seem to fall in line with what would be considered abnormal under the circumstances? or are their protocols or events or activities more normal considering the circumstances? Are they walking calmly? Uh, let's say if they have to be an evacuation, it's a very calm, cool, and collected evacuation. Or is it, hey, let's go, you got to get out, you got 2 seconds, grab your bag, let's go. You ain't got time to grab your bag, just get out, get out, get out. What's the evacuation process? What's, all of that. Those are the kinds of things you want to be concerned about. Because that kind of gives you an idea, well, at least it gives you an idea of the authenticity. And while we focus on the mass shootings that claim so few lives, and again, I'm not minimizing anybody's life. I say whoever lost their life, my condolences to your family. Whoever was injured, my condolences, my energy, my healing energy, whatever healing energy I have in me, I send to you. I send the healing energy to your families because they're all experiencing this trauma right along with you. But the reality is, these mass shootings don't claim as many lives as the day-to-day shootings. We may lose 20 here in one day, and we may not have another mass shooting. This week was rare. We had, back to back. But usually, there's some months in between. But you're looking at maybe a couple hundred shot dead around the country daily. So why is it that, due to gun violence now, so why is it there's a push for legislation after every mass shooting? I mean, this massive push. There's no push the other times while Ray and little Johnny, running around shooting each other, or one gang versus the other gang running around shooting each other. There's no outcry about that. There's no push for mass legislation changes, etc., etc. But as soon as we have a mass shooting, then we got to go do gun law. We got to change the gun laws. Why the media covers 24 hours just about after each major incident like this? Is there anything else going on that maybe they don't want to cover? So they're going to keep us focused on this, program us to see this. That's all we see. That's all we hear on the radio. That's all anybody's talking about in the grocery stores. We know in Chicago there was, it's been an issue for some time now. Shootings left and right, all over Chicago. I remember when Trump came in office, one of the first things he said was, Chicago, get it cleaned up or I'm sending in the feds to clean it up for you. That's just how bad the number of shootings were. In Houston and Louisiana, from Saturday till today, there have been 20-something plus people shot dead. From Saturday to Monday in Houston and Louisiana, Baton Rouge, I think there was another shooting at a Walmart between two customers. So mass shootings do what? They create fear and they play to our emotions. They create a sense of urgency. If it's just Billy Bob and Johnny shooting each other, there's no urgency. But when someone takes out, whether actually or in a staged scenario, and I'm not saying that this is that, but I'm saying when it gives the impression that it's real, even though it might be staged, those mass shootings create a sense of urgency, not just in Congress, but in the people. So then you have the people begging for the changes that somebody may want. I say to you, my people, that's everybody. Not a particular race, not a particular class, everybody. Before you rush and vote to restrict guns, look at everything so that you can make a wise decision. Likely, once those laws are taken, not those laws, those rights are taken away, you allow them to be taken away, you won't get them back. So in a moment of emotion and heated and anger and frustration and desperation and despair and everything else, you sign away some rights to something, so to speak. That right's not coming back. Look at the Patriot Act. We've not been able to overturn what they've been doing on those phones from that day to this one. We've not been able to overturn them in and out of our business to the degree that they've been from that day to this one. Now, Congress got a little hot when Snowden did what he did and put that information out there. But that train was already headed down the track. When they got us afraid that day and that, I want to say it was a Tuesday in September. No, it wasn't a Tuesday. I don't know what day of the week it was. I'm getting me the line. When they got us all afraid and everybody was up in arms, ready to, yeah, go ahead, do what you got to do what you got to do. We ain't seen that privacy come back yet. And we've seen more people get added to domestic lists, watch lists, various lists, with little to no real concrete dots connected for anything. People's phones being tapped and recorded left and right, being followed, monitored, their finances, their interactions, whoever they deal with. It's a big old web. Every number in your phone book that you're calling, if your calls are being monitored, every one in your phone book is also on a list, and they're associated with you. And it goes, and it just continues to become a great big old massive web. I also say to us, before we rush to take matters into our own hands, remove the emotion and analyze the situation. That's not just with El Paso. That's not just with Ohio. As I told you, I'm not going to go into them in detail. Still too early. Still more stuff to come out. But that's for the regular Ray Ray that had a situation down the road from you that, most of the country doesn't know about. Remove the emotion. Analyze the situation. Ask yourself if your intended actions are warranted, whatever they may be. If your action is to go rally at the courthouse, if your action is to start a petition, if your action is to try to take matters into your own hands, whatever your action that you're intending to do, ask yourself, have I removed my emotion? Have I analyzed the situation, flipped it upside down, backwards and forwards, so I have all the information, or as much information that I can make a reasonably so I can make a good decision that a reasonable person would probably be in agreement with. And then you ask yourself, is the timing appropriate? Because here's the deal. It may be that you need to go, start a protest or start a petition or get some new law put on the books. But is this the correct time for it, or do you need to wait 6 months? You need to wait for more information to come out, do some more investigating before you take action. Or is it that the information was there in front of you and you should have did it yesterday, so hurry up and get your behind down there and file a petition? Whatever it is, again, just remove the emotion, analyze the situation. Then you ask yourself, did you exhaust all measures to get to the root causes? Not the symptoms, not like in this case, we don't want to know that this guy went and shot up these people. We want to know why. And then we want to know the why behind the why. Oh, they say he had hatred toward Hispanics. Okay, why? Why is that? Where did that come from? Is he, was there some issue with Hispanics that he had an interaction with? Did they bully him in school? Is, somebody in his family and there's some issue? What is it? Or is it all of the talk on the media about immigrants coming in here raping and robbing and getting our money and getting our jobs? Is that what turned them against Hispanics? We don't know. But that's information we want to find out before we start making decisions and judgments this early on. Those will be root causes, things to check into. When you go to the doctor, you don't want to just get an aspirin for your headache. You want to know why your head is hurting from the beginning. I personally believe all conflicts can be resolved if all the parties are willing to truly hear, see, and understand the total picture. If they're willing to get the total picture first and sit down to the table, you can resolve an issue without violence, without infringing upon other people's rights, etc. And if you can help it, don't make a move in any way until you're able to get to the root causes, to get all the information to analyze. My next question. Well, and this is some specific question, or a specific question about El Paso. Why is this man still alive? I got a video of the shooter in Dallas hit nobody. He's supposed to be dead. Others, mass shootings, supposed to be dead. But this man is still alive. Hmm. Hmm. In the state of Texas alone, many mass shootings. You have, back in the 90s, in El Paso, as a matter of fact, there was a lounge. There's a lounge in El Paso back in the 90s. I'm sorry, the 80s. Goes in, shoots up a bunch of people. He's arrested. And the reason why he's arrested is because the citizens got to him first. They did their duty. They stepped up to the plate. And they were able to subdue him and hold him for the police. You move into 91, October of 91. Somebody does what? Drives his truck. And I'm specifically not calling these people's names. If you want to know the names, you can go look it up. It's out there. Because I don't want to give them any notoriety. Guy drives his truck into Alubi's in Killeen, Texas. Kills, 23, 24 people, 23 people, I think. It injures another 25, 30, something, somewhere in those ranges. Total about 50 people either dead or injured. And then he kills himself. Suicide. Move on up. September of 99, you've got in Fort Worth, Texas. Baptist church. Man goes in, kills 7 people. Most of them teenagers who hadn't even lived their life yet. He kills himself. 10 years later, in November 2009, in Fort Hood, Texas, the Army psychiatrist is an Army doctor now. He goes and he kills, I think, 13 people and injures 30 more. And the police fired back, and he survived their fires, and he got the death penalty. So I don't think they've fried him yet. Not fried, they don't fry anymore. I don't think they've injected him yet, but he got the death penalty. But he lived. You're a military person. You kill 13 people, injure 30 others. You're on a military base. And they didn't take him out. So it kind of makes me wonder, were they intending to take him out? Or were they just wanting to disable him? Or are they bad shots, And if they're bad shots, I don't know if we need them over in somebody's arena fighting for us. We need some good shots, but that's a little quick aside there. April of 2014, back at Fort Hood again. Guy goes in, he kills 3, he injures 12 more. Why? Because he put in for leave and they denied him leave. He winds up taking his own life by suicide. November 2017, you have another Baptist church, this time in San Antonio. Man goes in, kills 26 people. That's November 2017. San Antonio goes in, kills 26 people in Southern Springs, I think, Baptist church. The citizens shot him. So they had their firearms. They shot him and then chased him down. They didn't take him out in their shots, chased him down to where he finally pulled over and shot and killed himself. May of 2018, what happened? Santa Fe High School. This just last year. That's in the Galveston area. Guy goes in, he kills 10, wounds another 10 more. He survived. He survived. He's still alive now. But I'm back to this shooter in Dallas who shot no one and he's dead. I'm back to somebody that sold bottled water on the street. I'm back to a woman that was just trying to get on the train to go handle her everyday life. Well, she wasn't shot though, so she don't count. I'm back to Amadou Diallo in Bronx, New York. What, a good 20 years ago now, almost 18, 20 years ago, something like that. 41 times he was shot. And he ain't shoot nobody. He wasn't a mass shooter. June 2019, I did a separate video on this. You got the guy up there in Dallas. There was another shooting, I want to say May 2019. And this was a black male. The one thus far was a black male, and he shot up, he shot a paramedic. He shot and killed a paramedic. And I can't remember who all else in the Dallas area. And then there was, of course, the guy that shot the multiple police officers a few years back. I want to say 2016, thereabouts. I want to say summer of 2016 in the Dallas area. That was right after the guy in Louisiana. I can't call his name, but you know there was all the different police brutality and killings at the hands of police of black men all over the place would happen in succession, one after another, one after another. And people took it upon themselves to target the police. Well, yeah, somebody in Dallas took out, I think, multiple police officers. And then there was, I think, in New York, somebody got some officers in their patrol car. And there's a little bit more to that story. But here's the FYI for you. All of these mass shootings, they weren't all AKs and ARs. They were not AK-47s, AR-15s, or anything like that. Quite a few of them were regular semi-automatic handguns. You get your 5 or 6 clips, they roll 10, 15, 14, 18, whatever, however many, whatever the capacity is. Get you 5 or 6 clips, empty one, drop, pop in another one, empty, drop, pop in, and keep going. So, that being the case, and some of them were shotguns, and some of them were just regular old rifles. So here's my question. If gun control and limiting or banning ARs, AK-47s are already banned, but ARs and an AR line, if you will, or in the AR style, those lines of that line of weapons is banned. Problem's not going to be fixed. Then again, I don't know, because that may be the objective in some of this. But you're still going to have folk who want to shoot up folk. And if these people got mental health issues and they intend to do a mass shooting, they're going to do it. And like I said, they can go in there and get them a handgun, fill up about 5 or 6 clips. They're ready to roll. So then the next thing is we take away those guns too. At what point do we address the issue? At what point do we look for the root of what's going on? At what point do we ask ourselves, why are these people doing this? And we know morality's gone to pots. And the easiest thing is we've taken prayer out of the schools. And mamas, parents stop disciplining their children. That's the easy thing to say. It's not going to get any better. I don't see it getting better until people are willing to go back to some sense of morals. But banning guns doesn't get to the root, and it leaves an unlevel playing field. You have a government that has the capacity to do, and you have a populace whose hands have been tied just by way of removing their ability to fight fire with fire, so to speak. And not that the intent is to go fight fire with fire. I don't advocate it. Again, I advocate communication, get all the facts, make a decision, and do what you got to do. But if it comes down to it where someone has to use a firearm, like in a couple of these cases where they had to shoot another shooter to protect the immediate life of whoever was in the area. You take away guns, then what? And leave them only for the police, the SWAT teams, all the sworn officers. So the people are sitting ducks. People, think about that. Like I said, I'm not going to go detail into these particular cases because they're still new. They're still very new. The families of the victims are still hurting. And I know that boy that killed his sister. I mean, that's well, I can't even go there with that just yet. So we want to think about that before we jump up in arms and holler, oh yeah, we need gun control. We need to get rid of guns. We need to get rid of them. Well, let me ask you where the guns come from. There's certain people you see doing these mass shootings and certain people you don't. There's a group of people that tend to shoot one, two, three folk in their neighborhood because they have some sort of relationship, some sort of connection with the people they're shooting. So the ones that tend to do these mass random shootings, what's going on with them? See, they've been overlooked for quite a while. They're given the benefit of the doubt. They're brought in alive. Or if they are killed, the officers are trying to do CPR on them to restore their lives. Maybe we need to look at who we're giving the benefit of the doubt to. Just some thoughts. As these situations continue to unfold and more information comes out, I may come back and update and do another video on this. Not sure if I will or won't, because the biggest point really is for you guys to do the analyzing yourself. Start asking yourself some of these questions. If I keep doing it for you, then you will never learn to do it yourself. That being the case, you guys be safe. Safety first. Be vigilant. Watch around you. Know your surroundings. Know what's normal, what's not normal. Get your diet right so that you can connect on a spiritual level, so that you can feel when something is wrong in the atmosphere. So you can feel when something is wrong wherever you are. So you can hear your ancestors tell you in that small, soft voice, go home. Or they can tell you, no, move from the food side of Walmart to the toy side. Because for all you know, it could be an active shooter in the food side, get ready to go off. You all the way in the toy side, you away from him, you on the other side of the store. So you have how many aisles of product between you and the gun? But you won't be able to get those messages if your diet's messed up, your pineal gland's still closed, and you're still full of all kinds of negativity and negative energy and whatever else you got going on with you. That being the case, I wish everybody well. Take care. Have a great day. Continue to keep your eyes open. Watch and continue to watch.